Really excited to be today with a special guest directly from AMIDA. For the first time being presented in London. Nice to see you, Clément.
Hi Pietro, thank you for the invitation. Really glad to be here in London to present the AMIDA collection to all the collectors.
It's fantastic. For the occasion, I'm actually wearing my Digitrend Open Sapphire that has been just launched, and it's fair to say it was really a big success. I know big success is an expression that is used too many times, but in this case, we've really seen it from the interest that the people have shown.
Yeah, it was a great launch on our side. A lot of work. It was really difficult to, from the design to development and production, to be able to manufacture these sapphire pieces was a big challenge. But today we are really happy to see the real production coming, and the collectors were really happy to get the piece as well.
And it's great that you managed to bring here the watch and as well the spectacular box that goes with it and puts the accent on the sapphire efforts that you've put on it. I have been wearing the watch since seeing Oliver's review that I thought was really good, and you can find on our YouTube channel. The piece is really stunning. It's surprising from the point of view of how you have taken a classic to the next level. Because already the Digitrend was an icon in the 70s, an icon of, for those people that are into vintage watchmaking, the Digitrend is one of those pieces that is in everybody's mind. You have retaken the Digitrend in the version you're wearing here, relaunched it, and then took it to the next step with the Open Sapphire. My question would be, how difficult was it to be as faithful as you possibly could in the relaunch of the Digitrend, and how difficult it was to take it to the next step?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's a really long story, because as a collector we discovered the brand with Matthew, with the creative director and designer of the brand, almost 10 years ago, and we go through all the steps that led us to relaunch the brand. So we discovered it, and then we just discovered, when the first time we got the Digitrend, we said, okay, wow, what is this design? It was so spectacular, and we thought, in the 70s, most brands were focused on doing functional, trying to get the time to people, but then we discovered they were also really into creative design, and it was also something that was really striking. And then we decided that at some point we should maybe go deeper into this story, and 6 years later we got the opportunity to get the brand, and we said, okay, that's amazing, let's revive it. And from there we started to dig into the history of AMIDA, trying to understand how they decided to design such a cool piece. And then we tried really, when we launched it last year, to be as authentic as possible into the initial design. The idea was just in the process to reconnect with the brand, trying to be in the mind of this creative guy that was launching this product in the 70s. And then now today with the Open Sapphire, it's more kind of our vision of the brand, with something which is still the right balance between a creative design but also having some traditional watchmaking. You have the finishing, the Côte de Genève, some anglage, perlage, so we try to keep the right balance between both.
Absolutely.
And also a really innovative material like the sapphire, that was just the unique material used by AMIDA in the 70s. That was the first time a brand used sapphire in terms of optical system to display the time.
Absolutely, I was going to go into that. We have talked about the design. To come in the 70s with a design like this required some attributes. But at the same time, there was a strong study on the functionality, on the ergonomics, and how readable the watch would have been. Because without being pedantic, but can we explain why this watch presents the reading of the time sideways?
So I think it's not 100% sure, but our vision is now, it was just in the middle of the beginning of the quartz crisis. The electronic LED display were booming, so I think what the brand tried to do back then was to keep their knowledge making traditional watchmaking, and more especially jumping hours, because they patented the jumping hours system in the 73. and they try to use this and make a digital display. And the next innovation that was also patented was to use the light reflecting display. So that's just using a prism to reflect the light and have this digital display, but yet with a mechanical movement and disc underneath.
You're adding a new element, because for people like me, this is a driver's watch. So, you know, with the typical Italian posture when you're driving, especially back in the 70s, being able to read the time in a very instinctive way. But you're also saying that there was a cheeky attempt to actually look like a digital watch without being a digital watch.
Yeah, I think it was, you know, during the quartz crisis, most of the brands were a bit scared, so they tried to just, with their own means, to compete with the market, with what people wanted. So I think AMIDA tried to do this, and unfortunately, they kind of missed the opportunity of being a creative brand using the traditional watchmaking, which is now, since the 2004, is really popular, and we have seen creative independent having a big success with this mindset.
Yeah, because back in the day, watchmaking was about having a reliable tool to read the time, and quartz was presenting a more accurate tool than what mechanical watchmakers had been up to that moment. In fact, on your very design, there was also another brand, Girard-Perregaux, that launched a casquette watch in the quartz version, in that case. So you had the two different schools. Digitrend, AMIDA stayed mechanical, Girard-Perregaux went quartz.
Yeah, that's exactly the same year in 1976 during the Basel Fair. They both introduced the same models. Girard-Perregaux on the quartz LED movement and AMIDA on their own jumping arrow patented movement. But it's same shape but two different products and two different stories.
So all of a sudden AMIDA disappears because the world goes to a completely different direction. Most of watch lovers were taken by the accuracy and by the fact that obviously a quartz watch would be much cheaper than a mechanical watch. So AMIDA was all of a sudden out of the market and disappeared. So it became a secret, basically, something that has been hidden until 10 years ago.
Yeah. So exactly, the brand disappeared in '84. It went bankrupt right in the middle of the quartz crisis. Then it disappeared, and I think the collectors started to discover again the brand and the Digitrend in the 2000, and mainly thanks to Max Busser that got the inspiration for the HM5. And then this was for sure something that raised awareness about this typical design. And then a few years later, it's something also we have met a lot of collectors who own the vintage one. And it's also always the same pattern in their collecting journey. They start with the big brands, get everything you need to get in the collection. At some point you want to go a step further into creativity, into finding something which is more unique. And most of them, they at this stage bought the vintage one.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of product which is really important for people who are looking for uniqueness, for a creative design, but something which is still true to traditional watchmaking.
The amazing effort that you put in was not only in reinventing a bit of a classic of watchmaking design at that point, so in these days, also make it as functional as the original, as mechanical as the original, but with great finishing, maintaining a certain price positioning, because in those days it was a watch for the middle class, let's say, watch collector. How did you manage to mix all of this?
It was really, since the beginning, it was also the idea to reconnect with the vintage one, and we wanted to also stay true to the positioning they had back in the past. So it was really important to us to try to once again to stick with the idea, bringing something which a jumping hour, sweeping minutes, with the good materials, good finishing, but also which is kind of a classic, timeless classic that would last for a long term. So the pricing was also meant to be affordable.
Yeah. And in the UK now, this starting from the Digitrend that Clément is wearing, we start at £2,900 excluding tax, and we go up to 4,000 for the Open Sapphire, which is the latest edition, together with the two that we have here, of course, the DLC coated version, you can see in both sides, and the gold coated version as well. This was immediately a big success. I know that you sold all the initial batch. Is the gold version something that is coming back available?
Yeah, we are now restocking the gold. We were quite really. The sales were kind of crazy on the gold, so we were short on stock. But now we are restocking, and it's going to be available in a few weeks, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of obviously, we are here for the launch of the Open Sapphire that has just happened. Again, congratulations! It was great. Also for our own audience, it was received really, really well. And again, I want to insist on the fact that you've taken it to the next level, because one thing is to see a solid metal top of the case, still accepting, of course, what is the identity of the piece, which is obviously to look at the time from the side. I believe that exposing the rest, exposing the top, adds something really, really special. Where are you going to go from there? Is this a concept that you're going to evolve on, or is there new ideas you're thinking about?
Yeah, sure, we have a lot of ideas. So once again, Mathieu, our creative director, has a lot of ideas. He has really a clear vision about AMIDA, and the thing is really to keep trying and pushing the boundaries for a creative design, try to get this bold and avant-garde spirit, and also to combine with traditional watchmaking and innovative materials. So that's going to be the journey we are on now.
For the future.
And we started, the first point, starting point was the sapphire, which made the piece unique. And now we are going on a step further, making the case out of sapphire. And in the future, we'll also work a lot on new materials, new way of using the jumping hours and digital display of time.
So to wrap up all of our conversation, and already thank you for your time. These are the models currently available, starting from the first relaunch of the Digitrend in stainless steel integrated bracelet. Then there is a version in DLC coated, and the gold coating. On the gold coating, can I ask you how you managed to achieve this incredible quality that I can see and feel here?
Yeah, it's a 4N PVD, so it's coating applied on the stainless steel. And then all the models are available on the Alcantara strap to also keep the link with the driver watch from the beginning. Alcantara is I guess used in luxury Italian cars. So
absolutely, it's actually an Italian patent, Alcantara, which I'm wearing today, and it's really, really comfortable. And it's got also the orange lining inside and makes it quite sporty and quite cool to look at, really. Well, Clément, I can only congratulate you and your team on the great work you've done. I'm really happy to have you today in London. We're going to meet some keen collectors, and you don't need my wishes because you're doing already really well, but best of luck for tonight and for the future of AMIDA.
Thank you, Pietro.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Cheers.